Thank you everyone for inviting. It's a privilege to share this story with all of you. It was spring of 2014. I was at the Pyongyang University Hospital radiology procedure room with a needle in my hand. I was supposed to be there only to observe, to prepare a curriculum for the North Korean students. Then out of the blue, Dr. Choh, the attending physician, asked me to scrub it on a case. I knew that the North Koreans were already leery of why I was there. So hoping to win their favor, I agreed. The patient had stomach cancer that had spread to the liver. The goal is to find the artery feeding the cancer and to treat it. Patients on the table prepped and ready to go. Dr. Choh handed me the needle. I found the pulse and I began to insert the needle. But the needle was so dull, it wouldn't go in. Dr. Choh saw my hesitation, grabbed the needle, leaned his weight into it, and forced it through. Then he asked me to catheterize the liver, the hepatic artery. Now, I've done this procedure 1,000 times back home in my practice. As I began to maneuver the catheter and the wire through the arteries, it didn't advance like it should have. Then it dawned on me. The catheter had been washed and reused so many times that the slippery coating had worn off. As I struggled trying with the catheter, I noticed the North Koreans were staring at me, the nurses, the techs, the residents, and the other attending physicians. And feeling a little self-conscious, I said to myself, this is not a good first impression. Well, we did eventually manage to get the catheter into the correct artery. Then Dr. Choh asked for a drug called Lipiodol. It's an oil-based drug commonly used in the 80s and still occasionally used today. Studies have shown that if you mix this drug with a second chemotherapy drug, its efficacy is much better. When it looked like to me that he was going to use only the oil-based drug, I wanted to say something. Well, as of yet, I hadn't exactly won their confidence. And I knew there was a shortage of drugs in North Korea, and I didn't want to ask for a drug that they might not have. But for the patient's sake, I felt compelled to. So as discreetly as possible, I asked, by chance, do you happen to have a second chemotherapy drug? Dr. Choh knew exactly what I was alluding to. He knew the literature. When he said yes, I thought he would call the hospital pharmacy and ask for a drug to be sent down. But instead, he turned to a family member who was watching the procedure through a window and asked her if she had brought the drug with her. Then it struck me. The family probably had money to buy the drugs themselves and most likely bought it on the black market. Well, the first drug is oil-based and the second drug is water-based. As you know, the two don't mix. As I watched Dr. Choh try to pour a little bit of his drug into a syringe, it became apparent that it wasn't going to mix well. Now, I'm still trying to win their favor. So I asked if they had a three-way stopcock and asked if I could show them a different method, a different technique that I use back home. He was very receptive. So I took first syringe, filled it halfway with the oil-based drug. Second syringe, filled it halfway with the water-based drug. Used the stopcock to connect the two together and flushed it back and forth multiple times to emulsify the drug. Then we connected it to the catheter and injected the mixture into the cancer. Now, by all means, was this a sophisticated procedure, but it broke the ice. You see, in the room was a senior-ranking physician who was quite skeptical of me from the beginning. She said with a loud voice, 오늘 새로운 것을 배웠다. Today, I've learned something new. Just then, the tension in the room disappeared. Everyone began to smile. I took a big breath and let out a sigh. I felt I connected with Dr. Choh and his staff, perhaps even gained a little bit of their trust. Over time, as I got to know them, the doctors in North Korea are just like doctors in the United States. The medical students are just like the ones here. Despite what we see and hear in the media, by far, the majority of the people in North Korea are regular people like you and me. The university in Pyongyang that I'm affiliated with is very unique. These North Korean students are taught by foreign professors, some of whom are Caucasians from the United States. I asked these American professors of why they were there. They told me they left the United States in the 70s and 80s to help the South Korean people during its developing years. And more recently, when they heard about teaching North Korean students, they volunteered again and moved north. Wow, I said to myself, the irony. You see, My family and I, we left South Korea in the 70s to have a better life in the States. These remarkable people left the States for Korea to help my own people. This rocked my world. After visiting North Korea, I returned home with a new purpose. Now it's my turn to go help my own people. I don't want to get involved in politics, and I'll let the powers be to deal with the nuclear missile crisis or the anti-humanitarian issues or even the detainment concerns. And I'm fully aware that this is a risky part of the world to visit. But I feel compelled to go. In fact, my parents who are from North Korea are against me traveling there. They fear for my safety. But again, I feel compelled to go. So now I'm doing all I can so that we can provide them with proper medical supplies, more current medications, but more importantly, for our team to train and teach their future doctors so that they can take care of their own people. I'll be going back on my 5th trip soon, and I cannot wait to reconnect with Dr. Choh and his team. Thank you.